After over 2 wonderful weeks at Cayo Costa in Pelican Bay, growing accustomed to the cruising life aboard Holiday, it was time to move on. Our fresh food supplies had dwindled, our water tanks were low, and we were just ready to be anchored closer to a city. Plus, we didn't adopt this new cruising life to stay put. So we pulled up the anchor for the first time on this cruising adventure and headed south towards Pine Island Sound. Pine Island Sound was beautiful, wide open with not many boats, a really undeveloped area of Florida's west coast. Lindy took the helm first, and we enjoyed being on the move again. Captiva's up here. Pine Island Sound. As the wind increased a little, it turned into an awesome day of sailing as we passed by Pine Island on the east and to the west the barrier islands of Captiva and Sanibel.
Doing what I'm doing. Well, they give me all kinds of warnings. Save me from ruin. When I say that I'm okay, well, they look at me kind of strange. Surely you're not happy now, you're no longer playing the game. People say I'm lazy, dreaming my life away. Well, they give me all kinds of advice.
We're just passing by Captiva, or passing by Captiva now, and then Sanibel Island just ahead. We would anchor for 2 nights between St. James City at the south end of Pine Island and Sanibel, visiting both of those places before heading on to Fort Myers Beach.
I'm just sitting here watching the wheels go round and round. I really love to watch them roll.
Well, we made it. We're anchored here in St. James City.
No longer riding on the merry-go-round.
We're here. After a fun Halloween in St. James City and touring Sanibel by bicycle, the first thing we would have to do is traverse the infamous Miserable Mile. The Miserable Mile is a narrow section of the intercoastal waterway where tidal currents make it difficult to stay in the channel and not be pushed outside and run aground.
Lost in confusion.
Whoa, easy there, Zach. Better not get too cocky. The currents here have you compensating as much as 20 degrees to keep you in a straight line and stay in the channel.
As if I've lost my mind.
Well, it turned out the Miserable Mile wasn't bad at all, and we made it through to the other side without incident. Next, our course took us under the bridge connecting Sanibel to the mainland and briefly out into the Gulf of Mexico before turning in and heading for our mooring ball at Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach would be our first experience ever with a mooring ball. A mooring ball is basically a fixed anchor attached to a floating ball with a rope that you pull up and tie to stay put instead of anchoring.
I just had to let it go. I just had to let it go.
The boat back there, he is gaining on us. I don't think he's using the same weight we are using.
Follow me.
we approached Fort Myers Beach, Lindy called the mooring field office to reserve our mooring ball, find out which mooring ball we were supposed to get to, and get any instructions for these mooring ball rookies. We decided that I would drive Holiday as Lindy went to the front of the boat with a boat hook to try and retrieve the line on the mooring ball that we would hook to. Did I mention that we were starting to get really nervous? We knew that there would be lots of other boats in close proximity as we entered the mooring field and tried to locate our ball. The wind had increased, and I worried about getting my speed and direction right to get us right next to the ball, as Lindy worried about trying not to miss the line and being strong enough to pull the thing in and get us attached. As we went under the bridge to Fort Myers Beach, we saw the mooring field ahead of us, the boats attached their balls, and started trying to figure out which empty ball might be ours. Yeah, nerves are sky high at this point. I'm imagining just barely missing the ball as the wind pushes Holiday into one of the other close by boats just before I can gain steerage again. There weren't any clear labels on the mooring balls that could be seen from a distance, so we finally just decided on one and went for it. I concentrated hard on speed control, trying not to lose steerage as I slowed, but trying to stop just as the bow of Holiday touched the ball. As we came to a stop, Lindy reached down with the boat hook and lugged the big line on board on her first try. By the time I got up to the front of the boat, she already had us attached. All that worrying for nothing. We would spend a week there on that mooring ball at Fort Myers Beach, a stark difference from our time spent at anchor at Cayo Costa. We had access to endless hot water showers, a laundry room, water to fill our tanks, fuel, and also lots and lots of restaurants and shopping.
This is Fort Myers Beach. We're at the mooring field and we're taking the dinghy in to hang out on shore today, do a few chores, and stuff like that. We're gonna go to the grocery store, wash some clothes, fill up our gas tanks. Pretty day.
At Fort Myers Beach, with all these amenities so close by, it was time to wash all our clothes and replenish our empty food stores to prepare Holiday for the trip further south. We headed into the dinghy dock with our to-do list, prepared for our reprovisioning day.
Lindy, how do you feel about our excursions today?
We're going to go to a new Publix, which their grocery starts. It's exciting. And do some laundry. That's about it.
And ride the bus?
Yeah.
Always fun.
It was just a short walk to the bus stop, and we had a little extra time, so we explored around the pier area and took a look at the beach. The pier area here, just down the street from the mooring field, is full of all kinds of fun places. We would spend a lot of our time at Fort Myers Beach here and down at the beach just next to the pier. An interesting aspect of our new cruising life is public transportation. With no real schedule, waiting on the bus isn't really a big deal. For mere pocket change, the bus takes us the few miles down to the grocery store and back. Of course, we have to take our backpacks, lots of reusable bags, and some insulated bags for cold stuff, and it is an arm load getting to the bus and from the bus back to the dinghy dock. But the most interesting aspect is that a trip to the grocery store back in our old lives on land might have taken a half hour, an hour at the most. While here in our cruising life, it takes the better part of a day. But we always have fun, and we also seem to appreciate the things we buy more. We also pay more attention to what we buy, thinking about shelf life and meal planning in our small galley. Lindy, what did you think about the provisioning trip so far?
Very good.
Get everything you wanted?
Yep.
We haven't been to a Publix to really get a good reprovisioning, so we took the bus here and it's looking good. We got everything we needed at the grocery store, took up a couple extra seats on the bus with all our bags, and loaded all of our groceries into the dinghy to go stow back on holiday. With some time left in the afternoon, we moved on to tackling our large pile of laundry that we had compiled from over 2 weeks of cruising. So tell us, Lindy, about taking buses to go shopping and using laundry rooms to do laundry. Any aggravations with it or troubles that you've had? Or
No, it's pretty cool so far. You can do multiple loads of laundry at one time, which is nice.
you got Wi-Fi in the laundry room and a little air conditioning.
That's right. It does cost $4 though to wash and dry a load of clothes.
But all in all, no big problems with any of it so far, huh?
No?
There just happened to be a nice little waterside restaurant next to the laundry room. Not too shabby of a place to wait for the clothes to finish drying. In fact, we may have stayed there just a little bit longer after the clothes finished drying. Fort Myers Beach was awesome, and we loved our introduction back into civilization after 2 weeks spent away from it all in Cayo Costa. No doubt there were fewer chore days like this one, and lots more days eating out too much and spending too much money, but we had a lot of fun. And as always, whether we're anchored out or moored next to a city, whether it's been a chore day or a lazy day of fun, watching the sunset together in the cockpit of holiday is our favorite part.